Hello, pedal people that are afraid of MIDI, people that need MIDI but don't want to do it because you gotta go into stupid menus and go left arrow, right arrow and all that bullshit. But the times are here where MIDI is easier. And I started showing you easier MIDI times recently with the More Tricks MIDI switcher. It is right here on my little board, right? It's out of focus because we're looking at different ones, but this is the big kahuna of touchscreen MIDI switchers that can do everything and their mom. You know, so many things. But it's also on the pricier side. Now, a company from Korea contacted me called Judas, and they make the Kedem 4 and the Kedem 6. Those are weird names, and I don't think the MIDI switcher should be called that, but what do I know? I don't know the company. And they arrived, and small footprint, super sturdy construction, touchscreen, affordable price. Let's take them out of the box and see how nicely they shipped.
Judas got a trick up his sleeve today. Kedem 4 and 6 gonna lead the way. Touchscreen magic, smooth as it gets. Flip a sound switch, no room for regrets. Switch it up, live it up, make it a song. Outputs for days, gotta keep pressing on. Affordable dreams, easy to steer. Kedem in your hand, make the path so clear. Programming's a breeze, no rocket domain. Plug it, feed it, watch it, entertain. Compact and cool, a show in your palm. Judas' command makes you set up the bomb. It's a wizard's wand on my pedal board. Every tone in sync like a perfect chord. Oh, Kedem, you're sleek, a sounder's delight. Guiding the riff into the night. Switch it up, live it up, make it.
So let's look at these beautiful things with, I don't know, we don't really play today. It's not a playing kind of a video. It's a techie kind of MIDI switcher video. So I'll put some AI music under that. What do I know? Let's look at some product shots.
Switch it up, live it up, make it a song. Outputs for days, gotta keep pressing on. Affordable dreams, easy to steer. Kedem in your hand, make the path so clear. Crunch, chasing endless hues. No more tap dancing, no more switcher blues. Judah built a brotherhood, one that unites. Through the Kedem we march.
Okay, so the really cool thing is the 4 clocks in at, I have it on here, $305. And the 6, if you have the space, why not? $369. So the upgrade price of about $64, very much worth it for just more. It's got the same functionality, but more outs and ins and more switchies. We're going to look at the differences. I can already tell you build quality, functionality, and price in a beautiful relationship. Really worth it. They offer you, the viewers of my channel, wait, let me get this right, a coupon code, HP42, HP42, letters, HP, it's below. And until the 31st of July, 2025, sorry if you're watching this in 2080, do we still have MIDI back then? I don't know. You get $30 off. $30 off of something that's already rather affordable. So let's look at the Kedem 6 for a second. We have a touchscreen. It does not have the full massive and everything, can do everything. That's something that the More Tricks has. However, it's got everything that you need to switch your MIDI pedals, continuous controllers, program changes, relay, so it can actually switch your amps, which I will show you later, which is pretty cool. Expression input, and you can even expand it with external foot switches if the 6 aren't enough. But the thing is, 6 isn't what it has. There are so many more foot switches on this that you don't see. That's ridiculous. I will show you. It's insane. So on this, we have, let's look in the back. MIDI out ×2 full-size MIDI. 9 volt in, USB MIDI. And then 1, 2, 3, 4 TRS MIDI outs. That's amazing. And you can switch 2 of these to relay out. So this would be channel and reverb and effects loop off and voicing, depending on what your amp or whatever, your device has. So each is replacing a 2-button foot switch. So this would be 4 switching functions in an analog way on your amp or pedal or whatever. But if you don't need that, it's for MIDI outputs. If you need it, you switch it and I'll show you how to do that. On this side, we got FX1, which is a bit weird. It's just a 2-button foot switch that you can add to this to have 8 buttons. Expression input. Here, another 2-button foot switch that would give you a 10-button foot switch, if you wanted that. Can be configured just like the ones on top. And MIDI in. So you could actually remote control everything that is set up here. You just send program changes to this, right, from some other MIDI controller. But your whole setup is around this. So this could be in the rack next to your amp or in a box behind your amp. And you are remote controlling this with MIDI in or with Judah's own Air MIDI system. Yep. These talk to each other. This and the 4, which is on the table, can talk to each other with Air MIDI. So you could have this fully wired up with everything somewhere off stage, and you have a power bank running into the Kedem 4 and doing everything from there, switching this, which has all the cables around it. Really, really cool. And there is a bit of plastic here that has the Judah's logo on it, and I'm pretty sure that is for the antenna. Also, a Wi-Fi antenna. Yes, these have Wi-Fi, and they update themselves over the air. OTA, is that how it's called? Update is just put it in your Wi-Fi system, update, done. Firmware update. Easy. Very sturdy, small footprint, loads of ins and outs. And let's see how easy they are to program. There are a couple of things where the wording is a little bit confusing, but we'll get to this. And what I'll do is, in the beginning of the video, I will show you everything on the 4. That's a little bit easier to understand because it's just more, right? And then I'll quickly show you the interface of this. So the 4 is right there. Let's get into it. We all don't like MIDI because it's a bitch, but with this, it's doable. I'm on bank 3 right now and programmed a couple of things in already. For example, on the top right, you can see up and down. That's my bank up and down, which I have with a long press and a double long press. So the 4 columns show you different kinds of presses. Yeah, and you guessed right, each foot switch can actually do 4 things. Nope, it can do 8 things. On, off, and on. So you turn A on, right? And now it's going to favorites. I have a favorite setting. And then on off, that's the release. It's sending a MIDI message. Pretty straightforward, right? And what it's doing right now is turning my Eventide H90 on and off. So if we show the desk cam, you can see the light on the left going on and off. So that's really just a bypass, which I can toggle, right? There you go. We got enough cameras to capture that. Let's do this. No, I don't want to go up. I did a double. That was wrong. So double and hold. Double long. That's what it is. Let's go to bank 1. And you can see that's always up in the corner because if you do something that you want on every page, you just hit global and then it's there always, which is really cool because something like a bank change, you want there all the time. But do you want a dedicated button like bank up, bank down? That would already kill 2 of the 4 switches. Now in this case, nope. It occupies 2 of the 8 functions of switch B. So that's really not a bad thing, right? Everything, of course, can be completely color-coded. So I go to A, always back in the top left. It is a small screen, but it is manageable. So you can empty everything, which we don't need to do because it is empty, but let's do that. There you go. We can color the whole thing. There are a variety of colors, up and down, as you can see. Let's go with the beautiful, here we go. So now the whole background changes into that. And you can see that the top changes. However, it doesn't auto change the color of the numbers. Now, all these things are easily software fixable and can be updated with the firmware over the internet on the device itself. You never need a computer, meaning everything I bitch about in this video, I guarantee you 2 weeks from now, it's fixed. Because if it's a color that's too bright, I think they should automatically go to black. So let's figure out a color that's darker. That's easier to see. Okay. Now it's asking you, what do you want? Do you want to press? Do you want to double click, double press, a long or a long double? So let me explain. It's important. Click, easy, right? Click, click, easy. Click, let go. Click, click, let go. Those are the 4 options. The switching function always happens on release. It has to, otherwise it doesn't know whether you're doing a long or a short. So it's always on up, not on pedal down, on pedal up. So if you're on stage and you want to get something happening on a certain beat, don't go click. You gotta go click and then up, and that's when it does it. When you do a short one, it's not a problem. When you do a long one, you gotta, time it that way. So I think the phrasing release is a bit weird, because for me, release means I push down and I let go, and it would be on pedal up. That is not what release means. It's simply a toggle function. So on or off. So let's say I click A once, that is press. I click A again to disengage it, that is press release. Right? So I double click and I have engaged the double layer function. To turn that off and do something else, you do double click again and then it releases. You do a long press, you're in the yellow function. And you do a long press again, and then it releases. So it's 4 different ways to get something on, or whatever you want to happen, and 4 ways to get out of that state with then something else to happen, right? So if you want something that turns on and off, you do on press and off on press release. Or let's say you want to switch to preset 12 and then back to 11. So long press will do 12, long release will do 11. On and off states, if that makes sense. I know it's confusing. It'll take about an hour, hour and a half to get into how they're handling things. But this gives you 8 different functions. However, if you have nothing defined on, let's say, double, and you're not in the double, you haven't engaged double. To get to double release, you first have to engage double. That's going too far already. I've lost you, right? I'll show you later when I'm doing the relay, because I did that and it's a bit confusing. So you cannot get to double release without doing double first. I'm so lost you now, but it's okay. It's okay. We're going simple, and we're naming this. And look, very nice. Save. That one's called simple. Press. Now, I defined my MIDI devices. That's how you do it. You don't want to go ahead and deal with channel 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 until 16. You want to teach that thing once where you're on what channels your devices are, and then just refer to your devices, right? Instead of MIDI, we could say MIDI, favorites, or device. So device would be controlling the device itself. So bank up, bank down, bank jump, tap tempo, tempo up, tempo down, double half tempo, and the clock presets. You can save up to 30 different clock presets. That is controlling the device itself. Favorites are simply settings that you define. Switch my amp to channel 2 and put the delay on, turn it on and to preset 25. And you can do this all in a favorite, and then if you want to record that later on some kind of foot switch or some kind of function, you just call up a favorite. There's only 10. I think there should be more, but that's really convenient because you do the programming once and always just call up your favorite. Or MIDI. You can do 30 different commands on each function. So press up, down, long, whatever. That's a lot. So that's way, way, way too many. So when you go to empty, it erases what you had. There's program change, continuous controller, note, and relay. Relay we get to later, tip sleeve, ring sleeve, tip ring, and so on. I have a separate section for that. So let's do program change on channel 1. What's channel 1, you ask? I don't remember. It's the amped, but I told you that. So you just go to pedal, and there's the list of devices that you've told it you have on the channels that you have. So I actually want to go to the Eventide H90. You can see that actually is on channel 3, but it doesn't really matter. You just pick Eventide H90. There you go. It says H90. And this is actually neat. You can jump to 127 to 0. You can do increments of 10 and increments of 1. So you want to go to 45. That is super simple. Done. And that now, I can actually see on my H90, it's on 45, right? And we're done. I also want to switch the amped switcher to amp number 5. There's a big display on there we can see. So it's difficult to lean over and do this. Amped. Now the amped starts counting at 1, not 0. So 5 actually reads as 4 on this. Now on the Motrix, there is a 1 offset, which sometimes is necessary. And then the number is actually exactly what you're looking at your device. Adding an offset for the device. So let's say you define your device with a MIDI channel and an offset of +1 or not. That would be nice, Judas, because some devices start at 1 and not at 0. So if you add that, it'll make it a little bit easier. So we'll save this whole thing. You can, of course, also save a BPM for that preset in milliseconds or BPM. You can make it global, local, or generally off. Really nice. There's also clock presets up here. These two things we have now happening on switch A, bank 1 on press. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. On release, let's go to a different preset and back to my clean channel, right? And that's how easy that was. Now it shows you on foot switch A, on press and press release, that there's MIDI messages happening. So I click this. Now I'm on 45 and amp number 5. 45 and amp number 5. I click again. It now tells me a release, and I'm back on amp number 2 and preset 12. So now I have a toggle, right, between these two settings. 2 different sounds, whatever you want. And I still have 6 functions that I can do on foot switch A. Right? If I now wanted to add the reverb from my amp, for example, by double clicking, I go here, double, add a relay. Let's say that's how my amp works, okay? And just so I can turn it off. So now you can see MIDI. It's not a MIDI function, it's a relay function. But double click. Now my reverb's on. Double click again. It's a double release. It's a weird wording, but my reverb's off. We have so far only used foot switch A. Are 4 foot switches enough? Maybe. Maybe they are. Because you can see how much with 4 foot switches, this is technically 4 times 8 functions on the first page of bank 1. That's pretty damn crazy, right? Obviously, we could also do continuous controllers. Let's quickly look at that. A press. And you can also do notes. You could literally just play bass lines or, I mean, could you? Because it's on sending a note on off. So it would have to be on down, not on up. So that's a little bit weird. I don't think notes can work in a musical sense here. They would have to trigger something like a light or whatever. So you can use note info if you wanted to. But continuous controller, super simple. Go to my H90. 23, we'll turn it on and off. And value is 127. That's what it needs. And now it just turned off. So if I now push this, let's see, my H90 turns off and it turns on, and always on press because it keeps sending the same continuous controller. It also has a continuous controller, let's call it ramping. It's not very sophisticated, it's not an ADSR, it's not super complicated, but it's called dynamic. So let's go to press. And if you engage dynamic, you have a time you can put in. 10 seconds. I really love this interface with it's 10 seconds is the max. Dumb. So 5.5 seconds. And we go from value 127 here to 40. So when you engage it, it will, within 5.5 seconds, take the value down. You can do swells or whatever. It's not super sophisticated, but it's there. What's the dictionary, you ask? Now that is awesome. What if I don't know the continuous controllers of my device? So we go to brand. There are quite a few there, right? Not all of them, but this is a list that can be expanded. How many boss effects do they have? Device, RV500, Katana head, Katana artist, okay, quite a few. Again, not everything. You could probably send them a list and they might add it themselves. Just add it and then you can, or adjustable 11, what do they have? Loop expander. I have that one. It's actually way cool that that's in there, because learning that is a bitch. What's in there by Digitech? Whammy. Eventide. H90 is not in there yet. Free the tone, head rush, hologram, hot tone, Houston Kettner, KSR. There's quite a bit of stuff in there. Police, verbs and flat V. So actually let's do poly verbs. Let's say you have that pedal. Parameter, any other parameters? I want crescendo on mix. There you go. It's even telling you what it is. But now I have that continuous controller and I can, well, obviously I have to send it now to the poly, which I have not connected. But there is a dictionary of these. It's simply just, hey, this is how these things work, without you having to look it up in a MIDI implementation manual, which is annoying. You don't want to carry these with you. This is simply just input. And then you put in your values and you're done. Pretty straightforward. Before we go into more, let me show you the relay in action switching an amp. Okay, here's a quick thing on the relay stuff. I'm filming this with a 360 camera. I have no idea if this is going to work. So you go into the menu, of course, you go to TRS, and then the second TRS MIDI out on the Kedem 4 can be configured to be relay, type A, type B, tip active, ring active, but we're going to go to relay. Now that output can switch your amps, your pedals, whatever has a TRS input, right? So really simple. And what I did is on preset C here on bank 2, make a press and a double press release, just to illustrate something. So I'm going to show you what I have on press. On the first message, it's on relay. You go to relay. On the 6, I think there's 2 relay outs. And then the options are off, tip and sleeve, ring and sleeve, tip and ring, tip, ring and sleeve. I wish you could, just like you define your MIDI pedals, also define functions for these. So it would be channel, reverb, FX loop, on off on your amp, or whatever the resulting result may be. I wish you could define that, but you can't. So you have to remember. So on my amp, which is on the other side over there, that's a beautiful MK overdrive from Victory. It has 2 inputs, and I'm in the input that does channel switching, and that's what we're trying. So tip and sleeve and ring and sleeve, and I can switch here, and you can actually see that the amp switches back and forth. Let's go to the amp. See? That's how that works. So we're going to set it to the clean channel, which is tip and sleeve. Oh, it already was. So I would have had to save that. Okay. So if I click this now, it is going to the clean channel. Now, if I want to toggle it and just click it off, I can't, because I haven't defined a release toggle parameter. So all I can do is click it and it'll never turn off because I didn't tell it to, right? So I can't really go with this function to my drive channel and switch between the 2 channels, which is really what I want to do. And of course I can, but I'll show you what I've done here. So I defined a double release, which is going to my drive channel. So the way to do this is really weird. If I now double click, it will do a double press, right? But do nothing, because nothing is assigned to double. Now I can release the double. And as you can see over there, the amp switches to the drive channel. Now I can go to the clean channel. I would have to double press to get it into double mode and double release. So obviously that is very stupid, right? So what we're going to do is go to double release, hit empty. That's how we, wait, I have to save that. Empty, get out of here, save. Now I go to press release, which is technically not really a release. It's not push down, let go, and then it does something. It's a toggle. So here I go to relay, ring sleeve, save. Now we have an on and off. So on is going to the clean channel, off is going to the drive channel. That's how you will do that. And of course you can define that with double press, blah, 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 all these things, and combined with MIDI messages. If you want to go to your drive channel and at the same time switch your digital delay around, you can. Your IR loader, you can. Anything that of course has MIDI. So you can send, as you can see, more messages right here. But now I can simply just click my amp around. Let's do this again. Look at the amp. There is a click, click, click. So it's about, I don't know, it's not instantaneous. It is half a second, maybe 400 milliseconds. So there is a bit of a delay, but that's how the relay works. And I did this here because the amp was over there, and it's, not a lot easier to show you, but that's working great. Okay, folks, and remember, you can do all of that with long and short and release and whatever. So what I did is, up here, I went to long and made it a global switch, right? And I did bank up. So when I hit this long, nothing happens until I let go, and it's going to the next bank. I want to go back. Well, I did double long, bank down. Done. And I have this everywhere on B on those two functions. Now, what if you wanted to put that on 2 foot switches? Yeah, this is crazy. This is a really good product for the money people. Because, not for the money people, not for the people with money, for the money, comma, people. Distance of the foot switches is a little bit wide. Let me see. Nope, it works. You know how you traditionally have these 2 for bank down, these 2 for bank up on some pedals? You could easily build this. So, we're still on bank 1. Remember, 4 times 8 different functions. What is this? AB, AC, AD, BC, BD, CD. These are foot switch combinations that will now each, yes, I'm not shitting you, give you 8 different functions. Press, press release, long press, double, and so on. So let's say we want C and D. That's down there, right? And I want that to do, just on press, my bank switch. Bank up. Global. Done. Done. Save. I already did. I'm an idiot. That's done. And on B and D, do we have this right there? Yep. I wanted to go down. Just a press. No long, no bullshit device. Bank down. Save. Oh, no. Global. Save. Save. So now, every bank we go to, bank 2, no. You can also, by the way, just click on this. Let's say bank 3. You can see that these functions are there. Just a click. So down would be hitting these 2. And up would be hitting these 2. How beyond crazy is that? So you have ABCD with all the different presses. Then you've got combinations. And I said to them, I mean, a combination of A and D is kind of completely ridiculous. You wouldn't be able to do that with your feet. Yes, 100% sure. But you could do it with your hands if it was on a table. So that's another switch. Or you could do that with an external MIDI command, giving you, again, command over whatever. It's crazy. So up was this. We're on bank 4. Down was this. You can, of course, add colors to the foot switches as well, and to favorites. Everything can be color coded. So, of course, here, you know, we do this. Blue, done, which can really help. In here, we do salmon, done. And they're not named. Right now, they're called BD and CD, which is probably a good idea, right? Sorry, I'm looking over there, but I have to look at the interface. I'm not trying to be rude. But there's more pages. There's also FXA and FXB, which is external foot switches, right? So this is all on the same bank. I have a Barn 3 double foot switch here. Very nice one. And you want one that, of course, isn't a clack-clack one. You need a, whatever you call that. But I plug this into the FX input. And now it's on the table. And now I click this. And if you look at it, it just works. Crazy. That's how easy it is. I just added 2 foot switches that I could also... Could I do FX A and B? I don't think that works. The external ones I can't combine. But what for? What in the world for, people? So yeah, adding external foot switches, super simple. And to the Kedem 6, why did I say 6? Because that's German. To the Kedem 6, you can add 2 because it's got 1 here and 1 there. We're almost through, people. It's pretty insane. On banks, you could also go to setlist mode down there. On setlist mode, you go to setlist 1. So that's my gig with band 1, and you just say bank 1, bank 4, and each bank could be a song, which would make sense, right? So you just put these banks together. That's setlist 1. And then you have setlist 2 is a completely different setlist. And now when you're in setlist mode, cycling through the banks should be going through the setlist. Now I loaded setlist 1. And now it says setlist. Okay, so go up, going to 4, see, now that works. Bank 8, bank 9, down to 8, and back to 1. So you could have different set lists for different evenings, different bands. Easy. So you pretty much go to bank mode again. Done. Now it says bank instead of set list. What's left is looking at this. Here's Air MIDI, how you configure that, read the manual. You can send information from this to the other one, or vice versa. User settings, that's just my stuff, factory reset, what's it called, and the main view style. Now, if you don't want to see all that stuff, it'll show you which kind of presses are active, or you don't want to see any of that bullshit, just go to custom name, which in the end might probably be where you want to land, because then it shows you drive, solo, pre-chorus, whatever you want to call it, and very clear big colors, which in the end for the gig is likely what you want. But while you're programming it, be in that other mode, because you see what you've assigned. In the end, on stage, it's really tiny, she said, and you don't want that. So in the end, be on that. While you program, be on that. Makes total sense, and switching is very simple. TRS. The first TRS out is type A. The second is on relay. So you click on this, you can make it type B. You can make it something active, what is that? Tip active and ring active. Switch it around. No, it's not just type A, it's anything you want it to be. And on the second one, you have the same options for being a MIDI, or you can switch it to relay, which is what I did. Here, is it a dual or a single switch? Well, we've got the band 3 on the table, and that's a dual switch, and that's all you do. And here's the expression pedal, which could be TRS or RTS. I could take my fulcrum and show you that, but just know that it works. And you can assign 5 different continuous controllers to this. And yes, I tried. You cannot just go from low to high. You can also go from high to low. So some parameters could ramp up while others ramp down. You can set minimum and maximum parameters. How? Go to expression. There you go. Put them on there. You know, can go back to dictionary, minimum, maximum, continuous controller, blah, 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 blah. So yes, that also works. So it is analog expression converted to MIDI. On MIDI, the devices channel is 16. Here's the pedal manager, where you can, again, name your pedals and give MIDI channels. It would also be nice to say +1, -1, you know what I mean? Judas, please add that. Also on the relay, it says TS, RS, whatever. Make me able to switch that to the actual function that it does, like channel 1 or 2, or channel switch, reverb switch, whatever your amp does. That way it's a lot easier to remember. And then MIDI clock and the clock settings. So, here are your favorites, where you simply, look, define a whole bunch of things and save it as a favorite. And then instead of having to program that, you can simply say, oh, on the double press, I want favorite 5, which I know is a certain set of instructions. If you always go to certain things, just make them favorites. There are only 10, and I don't know why it says toggle on. I don't understand the toggle. There wasn't really enough information in the manual about this, right? But you can go to favorite 7, and now program it in any way you want with relay, with MIDI, and then always recall favorite 7. Firmware update. So you got a firmware update. It's connecting to Wi-Fi. If you tell it what Wi-Fi you use and the password. And then it's telling you whether you need to update or not. Easy. And literally, this is how devices should be, right? So very, very, very quickly look at the 6. So remember, 2 MIDI outs. Normal big-ass MIDI, still USB MIDI. 4 TRS MIDI outs. 2 of them could be relay, so you could switch more on your amp. 2 external foot switch inputs. Yada, yada, yada. All that stuff. I haven't really defined any colors here. It's all the same, you know, bam, done. Oh, how nice. Difference is when you go here and you go to TRS, you can now see 1, 2, 3, 4. These can be relay. This can be relay. These are only MIDI. FX1, single switch or dual switch. FX2, single switch or dual switch. And again, 1 input for expression pedal. So then it also has A, B, C, D, E, F. Each of them 8 different functions. And A, B, A, C, which of course you cannot hit with the foot. It's kind of pointless unless you're using your hands. A, D, A, E, A, F, and B, C, and B, D, and blah, blah. So you could do up. So this would be D and E. Do we have D and E? D and E. And E and F is there. So you could do bank down, bank up very easily, assign it globally, and Bob's your uncle. And then, of course, the different external switches. And this is all on one bank. It's pretty damn crazy. So, $305 minus $30 until the end of July with coupon code HP42. They offered me affiliate. I said, no, it's okay. They're paying me for the video. It's already fine. So no, I'm not getting any kickbacks from that. Very nice, by the way, Judas, to offer affiliate on top of that. So $30 you get off with the coupon code. So this will be under $300. And the big kahuna, the 6 is $369. So that'll be $339. Absolutely fair for a, I want to say, easily programmable MIDI switcher, because with the colors and the touchscreen, it is easy. And you have the continuous controller dictionary. You have your MIDI pedals defined in there. No, it doesn't go as far as the, adding a plus for certain MIDI devices. No, it doesn't do expression ramping with ADSRs and LFOs like the Mortrix does, but they are half the price of the Mortrix. There are certain concessions you have to make, and if you don't need that, and you need something very solid, beautifully built, and it actually, this has more ins and outs, especially outs, compared to the Mortrix, and it can do relay switching, so you can switch your amp. Really, really impressive. I had these sitting on the shelf for a while. Once I started working with them, I'm like, this is good shit. It's very, very, very recommendable. Can't say it any other way. Check it out. Link is below. Coupon code's below. If you're on the market for a MIDI switcher and you don't want to spend $1,000 or whatever, and you want something small for a fly rig that does the job, these are very good. This is my unbiased opinion. I'm happy I have them. Can use them now. And I'll put animals at the end, as always. Cascade!